Hey, Internet. So, there's a lot of language learning apps out there, right? All of them claiming to be the best way to learn a language. There's so many to try. New ones are constantly coming out, and the Internet is constantly yelling at you, buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me. It can be overwhelming, right? There's so many different options, and so today I wanted to kind of go over some of my favorite language learning apps that I use that are free or super cheap to use if you wanted to upgrade a little bit. Because, we're balling on a budget here. Disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by any of these. There's no type of sponsorship or connection to any of these applications. They're just what I'm already using. So take it with a grain of salt. So the first thing we need is vocabulary, and my personal favorite for that is Memrise. Memrise is such a simple app to use. It's a flashcard app, right? In the language learning world, we call it a spaced repetition learning system. So you learn a few words, and then a few hours later, you test to see if you remember those words. Super useful. It really helps to kind of ingrain those words in your head, right? Memrise is super simple to use. They have pre-built decks that are made by Memrise themselves, but then you can also create custom decks, and there's a huge user base that has created tons of custom decks, and you can find essentially a deck for any language that exists. I'm sure there's ones that aren't there, but majority of languages that you can think of that you'd want to learn, you'll find a deck for it. It's pretty simple to use. You can use it on a desktop, laptop, computer, in a web browser, or you can get an app for it on a smartphone. Basically, you sign up for a course. You can do the free version. There is a paid version to do things like listening to different types of audio, listening to native speakers talk, that sort of thing. So they're definitely useful skills, but the free version, of course, is if you just need the flashcards. I've been using Memrise for almost 10 years now, which is wild, and I love it. I use it all the time. I've used it for pretty much every language that I speak, and it's just a very simple, easy way to get new words in, right? Because learning a language is essentially learning new words and using them, and you got to start somewhere to learn new words. So I highly recommend Memrise. If you're a bit more tech savvy, Anki is also a good option. I've mentioned both of these in my previous video, but Anki is also really good. You can create custom decks on your own. You can also download decks that have been built by the community. Just download the app. There's a smartphone app or an app you can get for your laptop or desktop computer. Pretty straightforward to use. Similar idea. You either tell it that you know the word or you don't know the word, and then it will quiz you again. All right, so we're learning some words now. We need to actually connect with people, actually speak a little bit, right? So the main app that I use for that is an app called HelloTalk. It's a great little app that's community focused. A bunch of language learners getting on there. Kind of like social media, you can make posts, but you can also, of course, connect with native speakers, look for them, send them a message saying, hey, I'm so-and-so learning your language. I can help you with the language you want to learn, which is my language. Let's chat sometime, do audio calls, video calls as well. And then there's these really cool things called voice rooms where you can actually hop in and actually chat with people in real time with your voice, so using your voice, which is great. And then they do plenty of live streams. At almost any given moment, there's a live stream going on. So getting that native speaker interaction, connecting with people as well as learning. It's pretty awesome. If you want something a bit more professional and maybe some tutors, iTalki is a phenomenal option as well. iTalki used to have a community focus back in the day, but they've kind of moved and just focused on lessons, which, hey, more power to them. If you're looking for just good personalized lessons, you can get them as low as $5 an hour. Personalized lesson over Skype with a community tour, or $10+ an hour for an actual professional teacher. And you can even see that people put up their diplomas, certificates, licensures, things like that. And they all have different videos you can go through and actually see, is the teacher a good fit for me? Another option you can use is Tandem. I've dabbled in Tandem a little bit. I think HelloTalk has more of a community focus, but Tandem is just straight up, if you just need to find language partners, you just scroll through lists of people, find a language partner, send a message, and see if you can connect. Another great tool to have in your language learning belt is a dictionary. One of my favorites is an online dictionary called WordReference. So WordReference is really solid in the sense that, at least for like the 12 most popular languages to learn, you can type in basically any word and it will give you multiple definitions or translations of that word. Even slang words will go in and they'll actually provide multiple sentences for use, like how to use it in a sentence, that sort of thing, as well as different phrases that might use that verb, different colloquialisms, different idioms, things like that. It's super useful and I love it. But of course, old faithful Google Translate has come a long way. It's been a long time since the welcome potato days. And honestly, I use it for Ukrainian nowadays and it seems pretty legit. Is it perfect? No, but no dictionary or translator is perfect because there's always nuances in language that sometimes they just can't detect yet. A handy thing to do is reading the news in a foreign language. It's a good way to practice and get native level content. A good app that I like to use is EuroNews. So it's in about 12 different languages with news from all over the world. If your language isn't in that, something fun that you can do is just Google the big newspaper of the country where they speak your language. So, for example, if you're learning Portuguese, you can look at Portuguese newspapers or Brazilian newspapers, whichever one works best for you. Listening practice, of course, is important, so YouTube is the best place for that. You can search endless amounts of content for whatever. If you're learning French, look up French comedy videos. It's native level content. It's good practice, but there's also plenty of channels for learning French on there as well. Anything that you would look up or search in your native language, just translate that into your target language, whatever you're learning, and then just search for that and just look at content, listen to content in your target language. So, dear viewer, what do you think of these language apps? Do you use them? Have you heard of them? Do you think they're no bueno? Let me know in the comments down below. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!